For some of you, this is, I don't know, several Writers Cafes. I see some alumni in the house, and really excited for tonight's show. I think that you'll understand what I'm talking about a little bit later. We have an incredible variety of pieces, and these are all original pieces that they started writing probably in January, and we've done several edits, and then the hard work came memorizing and getting coached. We had the theater majors come in and help them. They've come a long way in the last 2 weeks, and even in the last couple days. They have just beautiful pieces that they've spent a lot of time figuring out their word choice and exactly how and what they want to say, and then how they want to perform. We have a little bit, we have a dancer in the house for one of the pieces. We have a couple that are videos, and a couple songs that they wrote. So enjoy, just sit back and relax, put your cell phones away, please. Try not to use flash photography. Everyone's already a little bit nervous, so let's try not to make them any more nervous. Thank you for all the help from all the adults in the room, to all the students who are backstage helping, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, you guys! How are we doing tonight? Good? I gotta be honest, I'm not that good. Can I be a little vulnerable with you guys?
Yes.
I think I'm having a little bit of writer's block. Yeah, I know. I just had to do my senior exit, which is like 20 pages. Thank you, by the way, Miss Har. And it feels like for 4 years, all I've been hearing is, you gotta write, you gotta write, you gotta write. And I'm all tapped out. Now, I was telling my good friend Aaliyah about my problem, and she actually recommended me this movie, and it helped. So I hope you guys all enjoy it. inspiring tonight, and I hope you guys can all find something that's inspiring to you. Now, unlike that movie, this show isn't silent. Our writers have been working endlessly to perfect their pieces, and we want to hear you show them some love. Do you guys think you can do that for us? Welcome everyone to Writers Cafe 2025! I'm Tamir.
I'm Melissa.
And tonight we have a heartfelt program for you guys featuring Kappa's creative writing department.
Tonight you'll hear poems, plays, and songs, and to start the show off we have Rachel Copeland with Mirror at Patmos.
And Shania Britt performing The Calm in the Storm.
I don't believe in saints. Praise of saints is to be discouraged. In prayer they dare too close to Godhood, and inside their shrines festers false idol worship, lauded in the likeness of the Lord. Their dust and bone turns to rust and tone made too near the image of God. I falter and fall towards the altar with all its iconography. The church organ eclipses into its discography. An immaculate chorus, consecrated creation, it's shapen the form of a half-remembered hymn within my memory and reminiscences. The lyrics of a childhood song proclaiming, we were all made in the image of God. I peer into the altar's baptismal basin. My ineffectual reflection of vague connection to prayer, this unaware effigy of the heavens, was made in the image of God. So, God, instead of short spikes of hair, paired with a few grays and whites from restless nights of reckless buzz cuts, split ends falling at the feet of Delilah. Their color is a faded, cheap, store-bought, at-home, do-it-yourself, self-help color. God's favorite clothes must smell faintly of last night's cooking. And pickpocketed, petty theft perfumes, with cash-only clearance cosmetics, caught from God's lashes over eyes like stained glass and glistening chapel windows. Maybe God sings a prayer at night to calm the mind, a lullaby, remembering a mother who used to sing Jesus Loves Me, just to get her baby to sleep, to keep some prayer and heathen head and holy heart, so she can finally turn out the lights and say her own prayers to her own God, made in the image of her. A mother who raised four, a waitress who paid for what she couldn't afford, taking tips from tables and converting them into currency, so she can cover the cost of education, send her kid to a good school, no matter how her feet ache and closing. Maybe she prays to a God with calloused feet and recalcitrant hair, and praise of saints is to be discouraged. But if the Virgin Mary threw back her veil, I think I know what I would see there. The God of Isaiah stretch open the heavens for the stars, and a woman stretch open her womb for me. Hail mothers, full of grace, and maybe there's tears on God's face from another night of prayers heard for a mournful moment in the morning between the sermons of Mass, like a sacrosanct segment on the news. 1 in 12 children killed, their adolescent near apathetic hearts stilled, this cost of war eternally fulfilled, betraying each other according to what man has willed, for 30 pieces of silver, for fields of blood, for nothing. 7 days and 7 nights lost to an unfair, fair fight, and those who left their homes in flight when their bedrooms became a bomb site, wondering if their prayers are being heard right. Can God look in the mirror anymore? And if God did, what would there be to see but the reflection in the baptismal basin of dollar store hair dye? and everything must go. Last chance, marked down jewelry. Wandering back down the church aisle, all the while the lone organ repeats its faded vision of a song proclaiming we were all made in the image of God. So God has my crooked nose and my too big clothes, my yellow teeth and my resoluteness. And I have creator hands, the all-powerful, everlasting, eternal inclination towards creation. Give me 7 days and 7 nights, and I will carve out a new world. We will hold a funeral for yesterday's cosmos, and when we hang the new stars, they will burn ever brighter. The constellations, a confirmation that God was made in the image of us.
When my life seems to be moving all right, for once, things feel steady, like a gentle tide. But then you appear, and with you comes a storm. As the sun sets calmly over a quiet sea, you crashing like waves, causing havoc, disrupting my peace. You're the tornado, the fury that tears through, leaving destruction in your wake, ripping apart the tranquility I've built. I thought I was healed from the broken heart you left with. I thought I was whole. But every time I find balance, you reappear like a storm I never saw coming, shattering everything I've worked to protect. You were supposed to be my protector, my mom. Now I'm left with the pieces of love that never stayed. I question if true peace was ever within my reach. Despite the storms, I carry on, holding on to the quiet moments that flicker like candles in the dark. My heart gets swept away in your storm, and yet, somehow, I long for the calm we once shared. In this chaos, I search for meaning, for clarity, for something to hold on to. Love and serenity, a fragile balance. I wonder if I'll ever find my way back to stillness, or will I always be tangled up in this endless dance of calm and storm? As I stand here in the eye of the storm, I can't help but ask, will I ever be able to find peace again? Or is this just who we are? The calm and the storm, forever intertwined.
The wooden stairs were too high to step down for scraped knees and playful memories of sliding down. Bruised by a youthful naivety that fueled anger and uncontrollable excitement for a 5-year-old, the first touch of morning dread gnawed my limbs to wake up. Grandma's face weighted by the decaying white door frame as my morning fatigue slipped down the stairs. Her deep lifelines on her face, wrinkled lips, and disheveled expression. She opens the blinds to hide the unorganized mattress of her white hair and floral attire. "Josum," she smiled, a morning greeting, an affirmation of her lighthearted words, a routine promised to me each morning on walks to the bus, from Callowhill Street to my kindergarten classroom. She waits for me to return with a tight warm lock of our cradled bodies outside. A remedy for my nervous legs and rambling tongue before 8 a.m. I kiss Grandma's cheek, which I hope makes up for reading, writing, math, science, lunch, recess, and homework until I'm home.
Our next three pieces come from senior writers whose prose share intimate commentary on their own identity. That video you just saw was from Angel Leong, who will perform Yellow American Citizenship. We'll have Jay Diaz performing Oh, I Find Myself, and Effigy Handy with Hydrogen and Helium.
The heavy documents of citizenship rested on my mother's empty hands. Her skin won't be seen as ivory, but a red and yellow color of distrust. The man on the television is silencing my cries. The urges to speak about my skin, my background, and my pride. Where my eyes, nose, and features are slanted, skewed by American media until they resemble communists. Generations of people with my eyes, skin, hands, and hair similar to mine, strong and brittle under rural sun rays, and traveling in trains to successful social classes. Into cities they failed to reach, but now build into their future American dreams. Dreams my grandparents and my mother adopted. Dreams they believed they could not reach when they could only whisper to the dirt and cross beneath their feet. Must Buddha know I would fail on the voyage to a false meritocratic country? All eagles, red blood, white patriots, I refuse to adopt my mother's change of tone and beliefs. She forgets the red and yellow streaks on her passport and background, advertised to fly on broken white wings to a country of false ideals. Flying away from family, language, and plentiful rice baskets, to states united in location, but divided in perception.
Oh, I find myself twisted in sheets that tug my soul closer to death than the pages scattered around my room. I find my body aching for streets blanketed with full condoms and empty needles. I yearn for the boys I ain't care much about, that would hop over fences and steal me pretty flowers. And I find myself pleading with Mother Gaia to bury me in something more than pressure. Pressure that presses its nails into my back, tearing it into my arms, adding even more scars. I beg for the words to extract from my mind. I pull on my hair, hoping that if enough falls out, then finally my brain will be empty. I find myself giving up. Tears blurring not only my vision, but the sentences I worked so hard on. Ink bleeding from the sink onto my feet until it pools. Ink twisting my lungs until I could no longer find myself, begging for help. I scream to be heard. My voice claws on my throat, leaving it raw as a woman nearly dead on my block. Same woman I watched take the bus next to me. Same woman who swore she was okay when she dug her nails into my sleeve. It was a plea. Her eyes held hope for my unplanned future. And I could only clutch my bag in fear of her asking me for more money I ain't have. I find myself no longer seeing my dream as something possible, but as a nice grounding exercise, something to keep myself sane. But the joke of grippy socks is closer to reality. The more I laugh, the more you laugh, the more we both ignore my yearning for attention. And I find myself censoring these emotions, afraid that they'll kill relationships with people I need in my life. And I find myself hiding those fears and explaining them more than I understand them. Oh, I find myself.
Every second, a poem is born. Lodged next to those glittering gases, up and up and up. Behind stars' ears, they whisper back their names before falling down to earth. Crashing into the hands of us who didn't even know why we were holding them out. They sing and singe in the atmosphere, excess words flying off and laying down in lines, drawing shapes around their friends, planting shards of inspiration, leaving us to wonder and wonder and wonder. What do they say and do what they mean? And another poem is born. Another constellation burns the sky. So this new poem will welcome itself into a new life, and handled scared and shambling and unsteady, we will take this mote of light and tuck it into the vein of our elbows, where it will swim through the body like the iron of dead stars, dancing in circles and circles and circles with old friends. And not every night is a catching night, but tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, we will all have a chance to catch our poems and dance in one another's arms, like stars and poems, like friends.
We hope everyone is enjoying the show so far. Next week, pieces from the senior writers who are sharing personal discoveries from our poetry course. First is Astrid Judd with Catharsis, then Imani Martin with Unreached Skies, and Brave McHugh with Max.
Somewhere in a dream I live, surrounded by blaring car horns and the angered roar of a Dodge Challenger, drowned out by Radiohead's motion picture soundtrack. I chase the golden light that illuminates my emerald city, hidden beneath the bridge that stretches beyond the horizon, a horizon I always make sure to give one last look of gratitude towards when the sky changes to an orange hue and I must return to reality. I fly over the pebbles and dusty remnants of unfinished construction, under the trees that reach for me past the fields of dying grass. My board, an ebony black, with Baker splayed out in white lettering, without a single chip or crack, and a crisp sandpaper on top that always gives me calluses every time I grip it. I like to observe the different shapes around me, each one overlaid with the graffiti of hundreds of different artists, the sounds of wheels slamming against smooth pavement, and boards cracking against the worn edges of quarter pipes and spines. A faded American flag wrapping around a bowl, uneven lines and signatures slowly concealing what once was. The smell of weed, cigarettes, and beer washing over the air, and the ground riddled with empty, dented cans of Twisted Tea and Coors Light. There is the first rush when the board moves up the ramp, then back down, then up again, with an increased speed each time and an adrenaline that consumes me. Then I am lost from all that is real, standing at the edge of the universe, riding along the Milky Way. A deafening silence overtaking all distractions. The only two things existing are me and my most prized possession. I can close my eyes and simply be. Be the person I love. Be an angel who has found her heaven, floating on a cloud in an unimaginable catharsis. Eventually, it will be time to leave my world behind. I like to let the light touch my back as I venture back down the yellow brick road, my emerald city dissolving into the vivid marigold skyline, the wind carrying me home, away from my element to which I will soon return.
The wind carries the scent of something overripe, left too long in the heat, unpicked, unnoticed, hanging in the silence between sirens, names bloom and wither on corner shrines, shoestrings strung over street lights. The house with the dim porch light hums with hunger. A mother stacking tomorrows like unpaid bills. Her children trace shapes in the cracked ceiling, searching for a sky they have yet to reach through a trash bag full of hand-me-down clothes. I once dreamed of golden shores of the sky laying hands on me, but even there, the gaze lingers, measures, doubts, peels back my skin, too dark of a deep auburn to love. There's no stillness, no solace, only the echoes of footsteps worn into the pavement, pressed down by palms that never held grace, for blood that ran through dark hands.
I used to find Nerf darts beneath velvety couch cushions, orange bullets, plastic and rubber wedged where only children's fingers could reach. I used to take them out, count each one by one, and slip them into my narrow pockets. I used to sneak into your room and grab whatever I saw, a glass ball on the windowsill holding a marbled fish, the hunting knife you got last Christmas. I used to like that they were yours, and somehow, in turn, they were mine. I began to put the things I took back in your room, the wide pants I took from your dresser, your loose hoodies, I began to leave the door open when I left, and I began to pray that it stayed that way. Now I live in that time you made us drive out to Wayne. For a friend, I prayed that you would have a girl I never imagined that you would know. You were nervous, you were excited, and you were 17 again. She gave you a black coffee, bitter, cold, dabbled with the sweetness of her intentions. I knew that you wouldn't drink it, and you knew that I always would. You called it twin tuition, and you handed me the paper cup.
Before we start the next performances, we wanted to let you all know that the next piece contains sensitive language and source material, but our writer, Abdul Robinson, felt it necessary to share the piece in its original, raw, authentic form in order to convey his truth. After Abdul's piece, we'll have Millie Salinas performing A Stretching Thread, then Milena Robbins performing an original song, Sickly Love.
A proud nigga, an arrogant nigga, and more importantly, a cultured nigga. My black skin, my black lips, my black ass, which you can kiss by the way. My black pride, my black spirit, my black will. Something they couldn't break with whips and tear gas. How they hate us niggas, wanna erase us niggas. Big guns and cocaine in the neighborhoods to complete us niggas. Trapped in the ghetto, but claim they don't wanna evade us niggas. At just 12, I faced a shotgun. From hide and seek to duck and leap. From shells flying to dogs crying. They hate us niggas. More passion than that than to save us niggas. Still I stand tall, big smile was crooked and overshown, along with my luscious hair and patchy a thick beard. I know they'd kill me if they could. Cut my hair, beat my ass, and show me why you don't bite the hand that feeds, to not question what lies in the other hand, or the death in the belly of the other man. But I'm starving, sir. Starving, teacher. Starving, boss. Starving, master. Is it that you hate me or the fact you can't break me? You either stare at me in disgust or undress my sisters with lust. No wonder my great-granddaddy thought you were the devil. My granddaddy too, and hell, even my daddy. I haven't decided yet, because I don't think you can kill the devil. And man can bleed, and if I put a glass bottle to your head, I'm sure you plead. Beg for mercy and extra holy veiling, please. But in this moment, I think it's up to me, and my hands guided by ones that slip from the tree. How I feel that grip around my neck, when I curse and demand respect for paid in debt. Give you crumbs in exchange for $1 million operation. Either that or run for change with no destination, like a bomb waiting for detonation. Like Osama bin Laden, Fred Hampton faced the fire of that dragon. But he ran breakfast clubs and had a baby on the way. But they'll see that child as indifferent, label it as all the things as indifference. Against equality, no formality, no amount of preaching can reverse this lobotomy. The twisted burnt wick that symbolizes psychology. For I'm no MLK, no Malcolm X, no Ali, but I sock your ass for my rights. For I'm just a nigga, a ghetto nigga, a trifling nigga, a product of my environment, I'm the proudest nigga. Hell, I'm America's favorite nigga.
The sun lingers low, heavy and golden, melting into the water's slow-moving skin. A lingering warmth that glows, it wakes up the earth with gentle hands, spilling light across seas. A fishing line drifts, barely seen, a thread stretched by the hush of waiting. The fish move like shadows beneath, flickering between worlds just out of reach. Silver flashes swallowed by the dusk. Beyond the shore, the earth hums with a fading warmth. Stalks bend, brush against the skin, barefoot steps press along the grass. The whispers of winds curling through the field, the open air, laughter vanishes. The summer sun will rise once more to kiss the earth like days before. Thus, the sun, now only a smoldering ember, sinks mellow at the edge of the world. Thank you.
That was so beautiful. All right, we have 3 more pieces before intermission, 2 of which are poems by our very own junior writers, Sophia Deckinger, Sharing Something's Burning, and Marcellus Boyd with Our Wallet. Lastly, we'll share a short scene by senior writer Micah Alston titled The Amygdala Department, getting a glimpse inside of his brain.
embers to keep it alive, throttled by tongues of smoke while it wavered, starved and shivering in the carcass of the hearth. The cloying aroma of bubbling fat and gristle, first a syrupy murmur, sickeningly sweet, chocolate and roasted chicken, garlic and date sugar, caramelized, grotesquely honeyed, marrow ripe and saccharine seeping from each wound. Something is burning. I'm hunched before it, my palms raw and shining. This is my duty, the sting of smoke in my eyes, a hand on my face or my neck, the weight heavy in my lungs, clawing into the depth of my chest. This is what I'll bear for light. The whole of brightness is charred at the edges. The fire only hisses, alive and hungry, stark against the dark. Only at a distance I witness how the night bends away from it. Pried open, the pit seeps foulness. Smoldering, seething, sour it turns. Overdone to blackened to spoiled and bitter. Burning.
I know the man who stole my wallet. I didn't see him during the event. I was getting out of my car, blinded my senses. The man who stole my wallet lives in Philly, likely on Erie, a street with a station connecting Broad Street with high schools. The man who stole my wallet found $60 inside. It was a gift from my mother, a collection of bills to assist with my travel. The man who stole my wallet never found me. I was hidden amongst a crowd of students taking the train. He must have wanted to thank me for my generous donation. My money was taken by someone who had never earned it, but did I deserve more than him? The only thing I really know about the man who stole my wallet was that he was poor and lucky. The man who stole my wallet could have been a father, son, mother, daughter. In the same way, could have been a murderer or drug dealer. But for my sanity, the man who stole my wallet is a criminal. I can't even be mad at him. If I was in his position, I would have done the same thing. He was a man living in Philly, about to catch a train, looking down at the tears no one but him could admire when he saw an opportunity. Why can he look up in joy and I hobble on the ground for my wallet? Am I not unfortunate enough? And why am I the stepping stone for his fortune? It was my wallet, it was my money, it was my life. I don't even remember anything about the money or the fact that I had it, but the man who stole my wallet holds every bill with a memory. I wasn't able to spend the money on anything. That privilege is something for him to complete. The money is now his. The money brought him the same happiness it would have given me. However long he waited, he bought something of worth to him, even if it lasted one night. The man who stole my wallet is happy and cheerfully waits buying another wallet as I carry a new one.
Hello, all. My name is John. I'm from the amygdala department.
Hello, it's very nice to meet you.
Okay. Hello. What's your purpose here? Why are we here?
Well, I'll get straight to the point. The Brains are doing a new brain wellness program to improve mental health. So I gathered here the 3 core personality traits: whimsy, determination, and pessimism, to see if you can solve some of these problems.
Understood. Let's get right to the brick then. Let's outline some specific issues and we shall deliberate among each other on how we can solve these solutions.
Mandatory nap, pillow fort. Think, our bodies haven't been getting enough sleep, right? But if we had a big sparkly pillow fort, we would have slept more.
Why don't we just wait for John to present?
Come on,
will have no choice but to drift off into it.
This whole program just seems like it'll be another failed attempt at self-improvement.
Okay. Let's take this slow, yeah? All right. The first issue. We've been having a lot of low energy lately, probably due to that no sleep thing, but also piling homework, rehearsals, etc., etc. So, it's been causing us to trail off on some of our responsibilities.
Ooh, spontaneous nap breaks, or nap breaks. Or what if we turned every afternoon into a national holiday? Pajama Parade Wednesdays!
Ridiculous. What we need is a strict sleep schedule. 8 hours minimum combined with a morning workout and a balanced diet. Consistency is key.
Doesn't matter. Energy just runs out eventually, and it'll be impossible to regulate a new sleep schedule at this point.
That's because you're not dancing enough!
Or because there's no discipline.
Okay.
We need rules.
Okay. These are all ideas worth considering. We can do both of them. A little structure with room for fun.
Structure and dance parties! That's good, John. Good.
It won't last.
That's fine. Small steps. Let's keep going. The second issue, overthinking. The brain's been spending too much time cycling through the same worries without finding solutions. What can we do?
Ooh, distractions. What if we played games where the sky turns green and everyone has to wear roller skates?
No. We need mindfulness techniques, meditation, journaling, a structured plan to identify the problem, analyze possible solutions, and then act.
More structure. You're allergic to fun.
You're allergic to productivity.
As long as we distract ourselves, we'll never face the real problem. And meditation? Journaling? It's just stupid.
Unless we turned all of our thoughts into a musical. Overthinking the opera, where everyone sings their worries away.
Or we actually solve the problem instead of turning it into a joke.
Okay, all right. What if we combine these ideas, grounding ourselves in exercise to stay present, but with moments of creativity to break the cycle?
Like writing our thoughts down and turning them into a poem?
It'll only last a little while.
That's fine. Progress, everyone. That's what this is about. Now, the third issue, self-doubt. The brain's been having some trouble believing in its own abilities. What's the approach?
A rigorous self-improvement. Strength training, goal charts, weights, push-ups every morning.
Or a self-love art station. Paint your own motivational posters while wearing silly hats.
How is that supposed to build confidence?
How is lifting heavy things supposed to make you feel fabulous?
Because progress is measurable.
And glitter is sparkly.
Okay. Settle down. All right. How about we celebrate progress with sparkles?
Well, I guess that could be nice to wear a funny hat and lift weights.
Now we're talking!
As long as there's a checklist.
That's right, everyone. Small steps with a little celebration along the way. Now, who's ready to wrap this up with one final solution?
I've got it. The ultimate solution. A dance party. We celebrate every small victory, every checklist ticked off, every glittery masterpiece, every weight lifted with music and dancing.
I think that could be perfect.
As long as there's a cool-down stretch afterward.
Come on!
hope you enjoyed your break.
And you're prepared because we have an amazing second half for you tonight.
You'll see pieces from Astrid McSwiggan performing If You Can't Love Yourself, and Junior Maisie Levin with her piece, Laura. But next, you'll see Sincere Wright McCullough's play, It's Not That Deep.
Amir, you can't say that.
Wait, what do you mean?
You can't say his writing isn't that deep.
No, it's literally not that deep.
Tamir.
No, his piece is called It's Not That Deep.
Oh.
Yeah. We hope you enjoy the second half.
It's not that deep.
Well, if it's not that deep, then let it go.
It's not that deep.
Okay, so let it go.
I can't.
So then it is deep.
No, I'm deep in it, but it's not inherently that deep.
What is that deep to you?
Like, deep enough to make it a whole thing.
But it is a whole thing.
Yeah. But I don't want to be the type of person that makes it a whole thing.
Well, it's certainly something.
So,
So say something.
that's fine.
So then you gotta let it go. There's no secret third option.
I can't let it go.
Why not?
Because I always let it go. And if I let this go, then I become the person that always lets things go.
Well, now it sounds like you've never let it
I've
go.
never said anything either.
So where's it all going?
Nowhere.
You've just been letting it build up inside you.
That's so.
That's a whole thing.
What is?
You're gonna have a breakdown.
What?
Something.
Why would I do that?
Because all the somethings are gonna add up to one big thing.
Well, if it's one big thing, then I'll say something.
It might be too late to say something by then.
I'll let it go.
You can't let it go.
Why not?
Because it's already eating you up inside. That's why you're upset now.
Well, why would it eat at me?
Because you deepened it.
Well, if I deepened it, then it's deep.
Well, which is it?
It's not that deep.
Well, if it's not that deep, then let it go.
From the housetops to the gutters, from the oceans to the shore, the warning signs have all been bright and garish, far too great in number to ignore. From the cities to the swamplands, from the highway to the hills, our lives have never had a leg to stand on. From the caffeine to the crosstops to your mother's pills, but I will walk down to the end with you, if you will, all the way down with me. Breathe in. Allow ourselves to think nothing of shame. Let it slip between gaps in false yellow teeth. I remember a near-ripe, rosy Adam's apple, which shifted behind skin, shaking through stubble. We crashed the chipped window in your family home. As you whispered, you named them all and all the ways in which you shamed generations past. Our fingers intercept the spark, palm formed. Breathe in and hold, like our mothers showed us. Mirror their lungs, expand and deflate. Tell me stories of her as you forgot where you were. I thought of my own, then you said she's better dead. Red, delicious, fades to green, and overwhelming sick. We bought 3 magpie and 10 daffodil the first time we met, neither of which lasted until the following day I asked you where you got money and the drive to chase it. First, you split open an oyster and showed me the inside. running crusted fingers along narrow, fleshy folds, expose the pearl to air in vile yellow glow. Above us, dust clings to the ceiling fan, quilting over well-loved blades whose air pierces through layers of jackets, undergrowth beards, worn in hoodies. Only then will you tell me your envy of Eve, ignorant, brave enough to stare through the snake as she chewed the apple into a liquidy mush, letting the taste rest on her mouth. Nectar slips down to soothe the hungry throat. The bitter film fermented on her tongue, a residue of questions and endless thought, wanting for something, an impossible truth, the triumph of greed over one's creator. From the entrance to the exit, this dark is longer than it looks from where we stand. I want to say I'm sorry for stuff I haven't done yet. Things will shortly get completely out of hand. I can feel it in the rotten air tonight. In the tips of my fingers, in the skin on my face, in the weak last gasp of the evening's dying light. In the way those eyes I've always known illuminate this place like a trash can fire. In a prison cell, like the searchlights in the parking lots of hell, I will walk down to the end with you, if you would walk all the way down with me.
When I was 10, I asked my father where his mother was buried. I'm not sure. It's not a very important place to me. His voice was even. I've seen him exhibit more passion over a football game. I'm not sure if this is when it began, the belief that my father didn't care about his mother, but this is the earliest memory that I can point to. I'm sitting on a folding chair in my father's aunt's house. During a lulling conversation, my great-aunts stand up and tenderly kiss their grandchildren on the forehead. There are no kisses on the forehead for my brother and me. She died when our dad was 10. Our father, unsurprisingly, does not notice this interaction. He is busy talking to his mother's cousin, who asked him, "Are you Laura's son?" as soon as she stepped through the door. I never feel her loss more than I do when I am here, in this small Florida house that hasn't changed since the 1970s. It's so easy to imagine her sitting on the brown couch with her older sisters, laughing as she sips Manischewitz. When my Aunt Bonnie sits back down, I swear that I see Laura looking back at me. A ghost of what could have been. I'm in a vision. I'm not here, not in this little house with an unkissed forehead. The mirage ends, and I come back to the folding chair and the loss that has never felt so tangible. As I inhale, I try to behave like my father, like a man who doesn't care about the past or believe in ghosts. My grandfather throws almost nothing out. His garage is filled with shoe polish from the 1990s and samples of Acme ornament nearly bursting through Ziploc bags. Despite this, I found a few of her photos and records. Although he throws nothing out, a shockingly small amount of her belongings remain. I want to find, unlike my father, who's practical and doesn't like to hold on to the past, my grandfather keeps everything with a bitterness that I appreciate. Unfortunately, he holds on to old shoe polish and petty grudges against Laura's family, not her books and clothing. More than anything, I want to find one of her blouses or necklaces, something that I can keep with me always. I want a locket with her picture in it, but I don't want to explain why I wear a stranger's picture around my neck. Furthermore, the locket will confuse my father. He doesn't know why I grieve on purpose, why I gather all of it, hold it in my hands, and analyze it. I am one generation removed from her death, so I can feel the loss without being torn apart. My father does not have this luxury. The pain is too deep, and he was too young when she died. I keep the grief somewhat hidden, though. I don't blubber about her to everyone I know. I'm not that desperate. I will wear the locket underneath my shirt. When I ask about her, my father usually responds as if he has a time limit, but when it's unprompted, it's as if a butterfly has landed on me. I pay attention so I don't miss it, and avoid making sudden movements by asking too many questions. We never met, so I miss her only as a concept. She is more of a symbol than a person, more of an absence than a human being. She's barely more than a story. I could let go of her so easily, but I don't want to. For a long time, I had low expectations of grief. Although it may be initially strong, it has no longevity. How could it mean anything if it doesn't have to always be carried? How can someone matter if they can be forgotten? However, some grief is too powerful for one person to hold. You can try to forget about it. You can compartmentalize it all you want, but it will always haunt you and your descendants, even if they don't know who they are mourning. I speak of two extremes, of a meaningless, completely ungrieved death, and of a pain so deep it cannot be held by one person. But what scares me most is the possibility that I'll fade away. A sliver of myself whispers that grief, despite its initial power, is not durable, that I will be mourned in the beginning, but forgotten about later. For me, she's neither flesh, blood, and tendons, nor a rotting corpse buried in some unknown cemetery in Pennsylvania. Laura is photos with soft edges and her name scrawled on the back. She is a Valentine's Day card with Snoopy on the cover. She is her favorite Edith Piaf record in a cluttered garage in California, thousands of miles away from where she was born, where she grew up, and where she died. She is a strange absence. Laura is an unkissed forehead.
Our next three performers are Rita B. sharing Around the Solar System, Molly Weller-McQuay performing her piece Dad, and junior Natalie Spina with Moonwater.
A white dwarf in the dark sky, surrounded and overlooked by bright twinkling stars, is what my youth reminded me of. For me, blue was traumatically familiar. It was the color of the sky I felt alienated under, the color behind the stars on a flag I could never claim as my own, the color of an icy depression that was my childhood. Trips around the solar system are fantasies I will always yearn for, only in my reach when the sun says its goodbyes and the moonlight kisses me goodnight. In some dreams, I see visions of my younger self, alone on Saturn, where the piercing air taunted me with vivid memories of isolation, where I seem to sit idly on the rings, waiting for my world to stop revolving around others and finally be my own. With my inner light no longer flickering with uncertainty, I crashed into Earth like a meteor, of blinding white, where the whispered wishes of a life that once seemed unattainable became my reality. The cosmos aligned, and the alien I frequently saw in my sleep was replaced with my current self, a star of my own constellation.
I stand in a quiet room where his echoes fade. The air still hums with whispers of his name, and the stairs groan softly beneath my feet, aching in places they never used to. His laughter, once bright as morning light, seeping through a cracked bedroom window. I trace the contours of a hollow space, where shadows cling like memories that won't release. Heavy with the exhaustion.
You got it, Molly.
Sorry, I thank y'all. For death,
You got
for
it.
death has stolen more than time could heal. I search the faces of those who remain, hoping to find traces of him among them, their grief, a quiet symphony of all that we have lost and all we could not save. I wish to share a quiet conversation with him, to ease this ache of an abrupt loss I was not equipped to deal with. But time, a merciless thief, has crept into our home and stolen him from his bed, leaving me here alone in my bed, clutching at my chest in hopes that sleep will numb this unsettling ache in my bones. Yet, in the quiet, when my eyes finally close and my breath steadies to a slower rhythm, my father returns to me in a dream. He plants a kiss on my forehead and reminds me that even in death, his love persists. So that last time, as I hugged my father, I held him close enough to memorize the sound of his heart beating in his chest, the scars of his face, the patchiness of his beard, the unevenness of his eyes, the only inheritance I would receive from him. And I asked him if he must go, that he do it quietly, and that he close the door on his way out.
The ocean cried each night, afraid of the high tides it caused. Uncontrollable and violent, how much death it induced. It wept, yet only the waves themselves realized. Glistening under the scorching sun, the water retreated, drained from a night of sorrow, shallow and clear within the daylight, without the agony of the nights foregone. The moon ascended once more, its light causing the dark sea to glow, reflecting refractions into the night sky. Ocean waves crashed anew, and once again the water wept. Why are you crying? The moon lowered slowly to the sea. I've hurt so many with my waves, the water exclaimed. Yet, isn't it your own tears causing the rough ripples? I cannot stop. I'm simply drowned in devastation. If you continue, your tides will reach me. That simply cannot do. The moon pondered this dilemma, how to bring peace to the suffering sea. At night, you shall rest. I will control the waves. We shall connect eternally, and you will be free forevermore. For one moment, the tides rose. The moon lowered. They touched. Each drop of liquid soaking in the moon's warmth. The moon relishing in the cool, a relief from the sun it so diligently chases. Realization followed. They each had what the other craved. Unbeknownst to the two, they'd never meet again. The moon, hidden away by the sun's warm hues, the sea in an enchanted slumber. Yet, together, they produced a new form, moon water.
Following those three beautiful pieces will be Karma Hillian with Yes Though She Stands, Junior Piper Mango performing Serenity, and Lydia Roach with For Sophia.
The first woman I had ever loved taught me tenderness in the way she held my hand, wiped my tears, and carried rose on her back. She's the backbone, the silent force, the steady hands that stitch torn dreams whole. Somewhere between her warmth and the pull of my own heart, like a barren field stripped of life, now awakened by vibrant blooms of lilacs and petunias. A picture that's still beautiful, even if some of the edges are torn. The only woman I will ever love taught me tenderness in the way she held my hand, carried rose on her back, and fixed torn dreams whole. She's the backbone, the silent force, the steady hands that stitch torn dreams whole. The only, ooh.
You got it.
Okay. Oh my God. The only woman I will ever love taught me tenderness in the way she held my hand, wiped my tears, and carried rose on her back.
You got it, Carmen. You got
this. The first woman I had ever learned to love had been the first to wipe my tears with the first woman I had ever loved had been the first to wipe my tears with the rigid surface of her callous fingertips, packing lunches, ironing hopes flat, unfaltering and fierce. She moves through the day like a quiet hymn, soft in her arrival, yet fierce in her staying in a home from the remnants of what was left behind. A life held together with patience and compressed sobs. Yet no one sees the weight that she carries. No one marks her name in bright lights or silver shimmer. No. Instead, she folds herself into the corners, hidden from sight, yet still she stands, unbreakable, unseen. A life held together with patience and compressed sobs. Yet no one sees the weight that she carries. No one marks her name in bright lights or silver shimmer. No. Instead, she folds herself into the corners, unbreakable, unseen. She stands in kitchens scented with late-night supper, concoctions of her tongue's own imagination. Trapped inside a cluttered head where her conscience is diminished, yet never silenced. Caught in a busy home where her exhaustion is second to duty. Torn between late nights where she prays for miracles, never asking for herself. She asks the universe for things she will never keep, giving away all of her softness and swallowing the rest. Somewhere between her warmth and the pull of my own heart, like a barren field stripped of life, now awakened by vibrant blooms of lilacs and petunias, a picture that's still beautiful, even if some of the edges are torn. Love does not come in a perfect shape here. No, instead it spills over and fills gaps where hands should have been, where the voices should have stayed. The only woman I will ever love taught me tenderness in the way she held my hand, wiped my tears, and carried worlds on her back. She is the backbone, the silent force, the steady hands that stitch torn dreams whole. And in her gaze, I saw the endless beauty of women,
radiant and unspoken. She's the best. Okay. Yeah. And then she's the echo of every movement beauty that came before her. The weight of their sacrifices pressing against her cracking spine. Yet still, she stands.
That little girl was crazy. All summer long, I took care of a gap-toothed 8-year-old who hated balls, the color black, and wearing her shoes. She tore off the Velcro of her Skechers, the tearing sound, a warning cry preceding her mayhem, and kicked them off. They spiraled through the air and landed on their side. She ran onto the turf field, tumbling, twerking, twisting out of the control of her counselors. There were other kids too, less problematic ones. They were sweet and well-behaved, their long eyelashes batted in obedience. She made them cry. Their eyes glossy and faces reddened, their sticky hands attempting to snatch back their toys. Her name was Serenity. She had tangled hair, and she bit her counselor. Before, she was playing with a plastic piece of a badminton net frame, her sword, and it got snatched out of her hands by her counselor. She crawled after him, begging for it back. She just wanted to play. Please, please, ah! Her anger erupted out of her mouth and sunk into the arm of a 19-year-old employee with blue-tip locks, a flashy gold chain, and a charming smile. His initial amusement formed into anger as he pried himself off of her and flung her into my arms. I originally got the job because I went to middle school with the owner's son, and I was not the only one to use this connection to my advantage. Most of my colleagues were all graduates of the same middle school I went to. It felt like I was relapsing. I had spent a year at a new place with new people, withdrawn from individuals I had known since infancy. I was fine without them. I liked my new life with my new friends, and now I was returning to my origins. Despite my extensive history with my colleagues, I had no intention of getting close. I had no intention of playing pickup basketball games or exchanging Fortnite usernames. I was one of the few female employees, and the social distance on the basis of gender and interest grew as I isolated myself from them. And to avoid work politics, I poured myself into every task at hand, every chore, every child, especially Serenity. She played by herself in her head most of the time. After a few weeks, I didn't bother to assign her to a team. Serenity hated to be assigned games. She made up her own. She preferred a small orange bouncy ball which she played with on the sidelines, flinging it into the air, watching it spiral back down and roll out of her reach. Instead, I tasked her with art projects, drawing portraits of me and her peers, writing a newspaper story about a girl and her dog. She excelled creatively. I praised her as an artist when other kids called her crazy. She had a savant-esque talent my coworkers couldn't comprehend, and the camp refused to congratulate. She didn't belong there, nor did I, not really. We weren't sporty enough or competitive enough. We'd much rather dance than conform. We were both girls with big brown eyes, twirling in an empty turf field. Through her, I regained my girlhood. Around her, I did not need to amplify my inner athlete. She befriended my inner child, a girl with tangled hair who loved prancing around barefoot, who found serenity dancing to a melody no one else could hear.
A storm blew in today, and they named it after you.
The man on the news calls you a killer, whose hereditary flooding left him refugee. A widowmaker whose ancestral plague ruined him first. You could execute me with the debris of birthright, drown me with the storm surges of chronology, and I wouldn't call you either, because I understand you have no apologies left, and you're showing me what it costs. I watch, motionless as you age us, erode us with the winds and rainwater of angry history and lovely sisterhood, and thank the wishes we have left. The scars, the seasons we've claimed, the scars we haven't, the memories we've shared, the dreams we don't, the names we've rationed, the patterns we won't. The man on the news has already damned you. Instead of damnation, I'll say to you, tear down the houses, uproot the trees, flood the rivers that thirst for flooding, sift the dirt that demands sifting. Instead of forgiveness, you'll say to me, hush against the foliage, share my name and my life cycle again, catch my eye across the dinner table, the church pew, the graveyard, seize my stare between the eye wall, the funnel, the rain bands, return to my side again, fall into a peace. I'll wear a mask of complicity if you ask for it. The man on the news has already damned us both. One grave, one name, one storm.
Thank you, Lydia. Woo! Our next three pieces will be Summertime, performed by senior Amara Stewart, and our freshman writer.
Our one and only freshman.
Courtney McKnight, performing her piece, A New Beginning, and senior Elliot Bird, performing Crash.
Somewhere in Philadelphia, it is summer. We are walking as the unforgiving sun beats down on our melted chocolate backs. $1.50 water ice running down hands, staining tongues red like the heart that steadily thumps in my ears, gum dried to concrete bubbling as it sears. I am much smaller, with a head full of braids that swing side to side, mimicking the rhythm of the city, and she is so very big, wrinkled hands and weary eyes telling her age. The world is a saturated shade of blue that has been lost and faded since. I skip over cracks in the sidewalk, jelly sandals slapping the curb, 5 steps ahead, never 10. Her shrill voice calls for me over passing cars, wait, and I do. I turn to look, but she is merely an obscurity, a body with no face, a nose with no lips, eyes without hair, and a mole. Before I can reach out, touch, see unnatural specks of white and silver that dance around their head, they float away, and like sparks fizzle to the ground. Then the scene resets itself. Whenever I think of her, I am there, stuck in a matrix of never-ending, swiftly sweet sugar and a face I am forgetting, always walking home down Lancaster Avenue, eager to evade the sun, always keeping my eyes toward the ground in search of lucky pennies, always somewhere in Philadelphia.
Beneath the tender weight of the snow, a wilted bloom is buried in the hush of winter. I wait until you see me again. What is a flower without its blossom? Only left with the root, the ache. Begging for the sun to familiarize, I'm longing for spring's warm embrace. I can't see you, only feel you. Soft, she comes as a drifting ember. Holding me in her gentle clasp, she murmurs a promise. I will oust the anguish of winter and restore the veil of hope. Her eternal words stay sincere. Soon, frozen patches morphed into muddy puddles. The wind chills turned into air kissed by the breath of spring. There was nothing wrong with me, I just missed the sun. Spring exists to remind us that everything can begin again.
I see the scorned and ravaged youth of this liberty's wasteland claw for purchase on the slippery fabrics of their mother's devastation, and find nothing but the pins and needles of hollow hate and bubblegum-flavored memories packed under their fingernails. These rusted children of the machine enact killing games in the playgrounds of each other's gray matter, wishing upon stars and cupcake candles for a shift in the destruction. They pack against peers like Marlboros under the initial carved surfaces of their K-12s, hoping that a desk can hold steady like a storm shelter against the high-velocity wind and rain of another hopeless headline. Some scream sacrilege from the backs of red pickup trucks, trailing just married soup cans and streamers, a personal Thanksgiving Day parade through the desolate landscape between the place that is no longer a home and the great sprawling promise of nothingness. Or cross-dress in the blue-green light of ATMs, sing hymns through city windows, barefoot against fire escapes as they stage Romeo and Juliet for a pigeon audience, kissing and feeling the poison of a lover's sacrifice course through their veins to the very tips of their painted fingernails. Others wander delirious and sideways onto crisscrossing train tracks, holding a sharp and burning eternity between their incisors as they strain sore muscles that submerge their palms in the lethe waters of the coveted third rail. Adorning stoops and chalked sidewalk slabs with blasting, booming music, they fix cars and Barbie bikes while the sun burns through their t-shirts. Sell lemonade on the corner next to funeral homes and strip clubs, their sticky fingers coating dollar bills in sugar. They cradle bothered infants in the ancestral hand-me-down quilts of drug-wrecked upstairs neighbors, tracing the sutured squares of someone else's memories. This one, a sun-soaked garden. This one, a grandmother's chair. A lover's kitchen, a dollhouse, threads and fabric crushed in tiny, wailing fists. And like anything else stitched together, their lives bound tight and painfully in the hell twine of the 21st century, fray at the edges. They call for a lighter, a Swiss Army knife, to numb fates pulled taut like electric guitar strings, waiting at the solitary streetlight of a Center City bus stop, or slurring out monstrously at the bar, Lord, send something bitter for the agony of the end.
You guys, we're nearing the end of our performance.
Oh my god.
I know, right? Our penultimate performances will be by 4 senior writers. First, we'll see Cynthia Ventura's video, Youth of 14. Then Tommy Stewart with The Steady Rhythm of the Sea. After that, we'll have Amani Greenberry's Icy Women. And our second to last, you know her, you love her, you've been hearing her all night. Laysa Andrade with her song, Regret.
even if I try to revive my lost soul like a firefly. It is simply a buzzing noise to everybody. I cluelessly wandered in the heat of 9th grade. My curly black hair was damp and stuck to my neck in crowded hallways. Sunscreen and summer refreshers scented bus rides I took home, where I sat with my knees pressed to my heavy pulse. Through tear-blurred eyes, I looked out the window, catching a fleeting snapshot of the city he loved, but wasn't ready to let go of. I didn't dare to smile when his body was turning to cancer, but still, I wanted to laugh so many times because deep down, I was only 14. I spent nights watching my ceiling as the May moon shined in. I asked the moon, how did I suddenly become an adult? Every day is a heavy burden that I don't think I can go on. I used to think I'd be going on dates or hangouts, having first kisses, sneaking out at midnight, and slipping back in by morning. But I had to know everything at 14. I didn't know my youth could slip through my hands, that my world can be reduced to doctor's offices and orange pharmacy bottles. In the mirror, my reflection once thought I could be 14 again after this war was over. 3 years later, my faded black curly hair and sorrowful eyes stare at me. My now brown hair and gaze flows with youth. Through the mist, time passed. The sun continued to rise and fall in the same place. I'm now 17 with life brought back to my face. I had first loves, first kisses, first dates, first hangouts, first friendships, and first heartaches. I laughed in hallways, cried in stairwells, cheeks pink and bittersweet memories. I don't want to pity my teenage years. So please, warmly remember my youth, Nabi.
Faint clouds drift like ghosts while the sun peeks through directly down on my fleshy shoulders. The boat is a whisper on the water. Its hull cuts through the glassy surface where the horizon dissolves into a blur of sky and sea. Each wave is a soft pulse as the whitecaps crash against the bow. I take a breath, hold it. The nerves in my hands feel overwhelming, but the power of this ship is everything. Gripping the tiller tight, hoisting the sails with strength like Popeye, the physicality is exciting enough. Wind picking up, sea spray dampens my hair, curls slap against my forehead. My vessel glides over a world unseen. A world another beneath me. Fish blend with the sail shade. Algae floats lonely on the surface, though a murky layer keeps these depths a mystery. As I sailed the day away, like the ship, a sun sank. My both hands calloused from the ropes. Maybe it's time to head home. Time holds no weight here, only the steady rhythm of the sea. A song that never ends.
I see women weep for all that is lost,
broken condoms and failed pills, curled around their child with tears in their eyes. Self-respect destroyed as validation clouds their judgment. I see men of all kinds enter our home and our room, men who stole her lifelight, leaving her to clutch the fragmented pieces of her life. I see helpless young women, I see women cling to their youth, run the streets in the early hours of the night, carefree, who sacrifice family time and their children for another bottle of booze and a smoke, who grew up too fast, then regressed, grasping, missing that childhood ripped from their hands. Early 20s turned to motherhood, cap and gown with a baby on their hip. Happy, but not quite. Her resentment is muffled, buried, but not quite. Fighting every day to bring happiness to the little bundle of joy who took all of hers. Never expecting an apology, never deserving of one, but perhaps wanting one for the years spent raising rather than maturing. I see women in ruins, held together by desperation and nicotine, who sit on the knife's edge, teetering between reality and delusion, their heads just above the clouds of bliss, while cement boots drag them beneath the waves of despair. I see women lay themselves out, once pristine sheets, now soiled, and she'll enjoy it up until her body is devastated and she's given yet another responsibility we know she'll resent. But she'll carry it to term, hold her empty joy in her arms, and she will weep for all that is lost.
He
stuck on my skin, stuck on my skin. No, 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 no. No, I can't leave you. He's stuck on my skin, my
That's why we love it.
How about that performance?
To wrap up our evening, we have the remarkable and oh so talented senior poet,
Azori Dola.
performing the last piece.
The final piece, the last protest.
I witnessed the greatest lovers destroyed by silence, buried beneath the weight of unspoken tenderness, who kissed behind locked doors and smiled in the shadows, whispering, "I see you," through generations of noise, who held hands on city buses despite the stars.
I just want to give a special thanks to all the creative writing teachers. Ms. Har, Mr. Ippolito, Ms. Shin, Ms. Citron, Mr. Corona, Mr. Div, Ms. Cramney, and Ms. Shin.